Hey, everybody, welcome back to Flow with Solaris. I'm Melanie, and today I'm sitting down with Michael LoColle, the founder of Danvers Wellness Center by Soul Warrior up in Danvers, Massachusetts. Michael has over 17 years of experience blending fitness, nutrition, energy healing, and shamanic practices into one space. That is a lot. And
It
he
is.
helps people. I love that. You think fitness, nutrition, and then I keep going, and it's like, boom, we got it covered.
Mhm.
He helps people to regulate their nervous systems so that they can restore energy, reduce stress, and create change in their lives that actually lasts. And what I love about his story is that he came from the corporate world and experienced burnout himself before building this. Okay, so Michael, take me back
Mm. Mhm,
to
mhm.
when you were still in that corporate grind. What was
Yeah.
that moment when you knew you had to do something different?
I got, I got to go back. Wow. 2009, early 2009. It was 2000, September 2008. I got certified as a personal trainer. And I spent a few months doing that. And I was a bodybuilder, power lifter before that for many years. And I loved that environment. I just loved the heavy weights and all those things back then. And so I just figured it'd be a good fit. I love teaching people, I love educating people, and I really love that world. And I figured, let me do this part time while I'm working my full time job. Then, when I got certified, for about 3 or 4 months, I kept saying to myself and looking up and just saying, how do I do this full time? How do I leave my corporate job that pays me well over six figures, that I'm doing really well at a big financial institution, and how do I do this? And I kept saying it over every day. So it was March of 2009, and some may remember this. It was a big crash in the financial markets back then. Housing market flipped, and I came in on a Friday morning, and I knew this because I had been laid off from a previous job some years back before this. And my district vice president came up to me and he's like, "Hey, can we talk? Can you come with me for a walk?" And I was like, "Oh, I know what's happening here." And it was the walk down the hallway to meet with HR. And I opened the door and I see the HR woman there, and she's like, I'm like, "Hey, you don't even have to say anything." And I looked at my boss and I said, "Hey, thank you so much." I go, "Is that my severance package?" And she was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Hey, I think we're okay." I'm like, "Yeah, we're totally fine. Let's go through that." I sit down. She goes, "You're the most excited person I've talked to this
You're
morning."
like, I've been planning for this on some
Right?
level.
Yeah. And she's like, "How could you be excited when you're literally getting laid off from now?" I go, "Because this is my opportunity to do and build something that I've been wanting to do and calling for the last 3 or 4 months straight." So it was that moment of manifestation. I've realized years later now that I'm pretty good at manifesting. I
Yeah,
have to be careful of my words and what I
be
say out
careful.
there. Yeah. So, yeah, it was that moment where I just walked into that office, sat down, looked at my severance package, said, "I have this amount of time." Great. I had some backup. I went home, walked in, and that was the start. That
Wow.
was that moment of building something new and different. Will I say I was working on my nervous system back then so much? Probably not, because I came from a very chaotic environment in corporate. But even then, my life in general was really chaos. Like I was married, we had a small child, divorced now, but we had the house and the jobs and the cars and all of the stuff, right? But I still felt like something was missing, and there was a lot of things that I hadn't worked through from my past. So my
Mm.
nervous system was still firing off. It was creating all my bad behaviors, my patterns, all of those things. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in it was in a great place, right? Getting to live my dream and starting that dream, but at the same time, I wasn't fully working on my nervous system just yet.
Well, that's funny because I didn't even know I needed to work on my nervous system. And maybe that's
No,
where you are because I'm getting my business going and it's going through this massive
yeah.
transformation. And I'm like, oh, the nervous system, that's a theme.
Yeah,
Um,
I have learned a lot about the nervous system over the last, I want to say, 13 months. About a year ago, and I know I'm fast forwarding now and stuff like that, but about a year ago, I had 8 trips to the ER over the course of 3.5 months.
Whoa.
4 of them for suspected suicide. Suspected heart attacks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so none of them were heart attacks. My EKGs came back fine. Everything was great. In those 4.5 months span between early January of last year to about April, I was I was under an immense amount of pressure from years of chronic stress. And this is how it blew up for me, is that I landed in the ER. So all of those years finally caught up to me. And this is literally having, worked in this field in energy healing and the shamanic practices and Reiki and breath work and I mean meditation. And I can deep dive into meditation. I love it. The way I was using it before all those things happened to the way I use it today and the way I instruct my clients to use it today is very different. Because today it's all about the command center. Your nervous system is the command center for your entire body. And unless we're dealing with the command center and making sure that it is in prime shape and realizing our body, like everybody says, our body's a temple, right? Like I tell people, like you're driving a Bugatti. It is not a Corolla. So why are you feeding it things that you wouldn't feed a Bugatti? You know, it's all of those things. And we're talking about mental feeding. We're talking about emotional feeding, not just food. So I think that's important there, but last year was that turning point for me where I was in a pretty decent space, but I realized that I was under an immense amount of pressure and stress from years of just chaos that I hadn't dealt with.
The surface.
I dealt with a lot of things. I've done a lot of healing over those years. I'm one of those people that have buried myself in the earth during shamanic practices to experience the deep rituals and ceremonies that were offered. I've been in sweat lodges with certain Native American cultures. I've had the experiences. I've come out of that in a completely different state of mind, and it's euphoric and it's amazing. But ultimately, the stress is always this baseline. I think most people live up here.
Yeah.
And they think that this is normal. They think this is baseline. It's truly down here.
Yeah, I don't want to think that's normal. And before we started recording, I was telling you how I was taking these breaks to kind of reset because the stress level felt abnormally high for me. And then what I'm finding is I get in my mind and then I'm in my mental field and I'm like, okay, I'm going to solve this problem and this problem.
Right.
And so what now I'm doing is reconnecting with my breath. I'm like, just bring it back to the breath.
Yeah. Your breath is life. It's the center of everything.
So that's been helpful. Okay. Yeah. Next question. We're
sure.
getting, these are so great though. So you offer everything from personal training and DNA-based nutrition coaching to the shamanic journeys as well as Reiki. So how did all of these modalities come together for you?
Me personally, the transformations that I experienced over the years, almost 20 years ago now, I started off as a personal trainer, nutrition consultant, and assisted stress therapist. So I was very body-based.
Sorry, I'm excited because that's what my son does. He does stretch therapy, and now he's doing, he's training to be a physical trainer. Oh, sorry, I was just excited because I've never met anybody with those connections.
So it's pretty cool. And I love working with clients in different ways, depending on how they come in and show up for the day, So that was me almost 20 years ago, adding those modalities. And then you fast forward a little bit, it was around 2012, 13, I experienced my first energy healing session, Reiki, on me. Somebody was doing it on me. They said, I'm just starting out. I'll give you 6 sessions for this amount. I'm like, totally fine. Yeah, I'll help you out. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Had no clue. And she's like, journal this. I still have those journals. I looked back a few months ago to see the experiences I've had. And I fell in love with it. I realized that I could always go deep. I just didn't allow myself to, because being a guy, I stopped myself many times when I was younger. I bought one of my first tarot decks when I was 17 years old. Never told anybody. I love crystals and stones. Never told anybody.
I'm sure the guys just love that.
Oh, yeah. I'm a guy's guy. you know? But at the same time, it's like, I couldn't speak that stuff out loud because you didn't want to get ridiculed. I was fear that I was in fear of all the judgment that was going to come at me, all the jokes. So look at him. Are you serious right now? What's wrong with you? You know? So I kept it hidden for a really long time that I was one of those sensitive guys, you know? And so I just kind of let it lay for a really long time. So, you know, 2012, 13, experienced my first energy healing session. And then from there, just kept doing more of that, more shamanic journeys, more stuff for myself, more meditation practices. And then you fast forward a little bit. I had a terrible breakup some years back, and that really propelled me into the deeper part of my healing, where I had to take a look at what was going on and say to myself, okay, why do I keep choosing the same person just in a different body?
I can
I'm
relate.
repeating patterns here, right? I'm repeating patterns. Why am I repeating
And
patterns?
we're good people, and it's so confusing. And who would think?
I'm like, I'm doing everything right. I'm trying to be a great guy. I'm doing all these nice things, stuff, you know? And finally, like, I didn't get an answer to that question. But the next question was, what's the common denominator in all of my relationships? It hit me really fast, really hard. I took that long, hard look in the mirror and I literally was like, whoa. So then what's my problem? Immediately, people talk about near death experiences and have that moment. They say that life flashes before their eyes, their whole
Yeah.
life. That was that for me.
Wow.
My whole life flashed before my eyes. I saw my whole childhood, the words that were spoken to me, everything that was said, all of the things, all of the instances that brought me to that place. It was like an elastic band shot forward and was like, this is why you're the way that you are. And I got all of that like immediate. I was like, oh my God.
That's a lot.
It was a lot. But in that moment, I was like, I have the solution now, though. I
Yeah.
understand what the problem's been. And now I'm my own solution. So in that moment, I was very quick to be like, what do I need to change? And I got myself mentors and coaches. And I started working with them and going deeper into my healing and deeper into my patterns, my behaviors. And I started changing so many things in my life very rapidly. And that's when I would really say that unconsciously at that time, I was working on my nervous system.
Yes, you were.
You know, I was doing a lot of that deep, deep healing to release a lot of those old patterns and behaviors, but still not hitting it head on.
Yeah, you were dancing around it.
I was,
You did.
I was. So I did a lot of healing, but it was still kind of like it was sitting there. I was getting there.
So, yeah, this is new for me too, just the awareness of the nervous system. Can you break down like
Mm.
what someone can do to, I guess, rebalance it or?
Yeah, there's so many things. We just did a live on our, we have a Facebook group all about resetting your nervous system.
Oh, nice.
And uh, we did that this afternoon and we did a small meditative practice. We call it a body scan, right? So there's many different practices. And that's why I tell people like, you can choose to meditate. You can do breath work. You can go to the gym. You can do a cold plunge, take a cold shower, hit the sauna. You know, there are so many different practices that you can utilize to reset your nervous system. Ultimately, they're all they're all short fixes and band-aids unless you're dealing with the deeper layer that's under there, which is why is your nervous system here? Why are you so amped up all of the time? Why are you stuck in fight or flight and in survival mode? Where did it start? So we can start with all those places, right? All those modalities to start to slow down their nervous system so that they can start to actually take a look at the deeper layers going on. So it's really, I tell people all the time, try. It's trial and error. Try meditation. Most people have trouble meditating. And
Yeah.
that's just because they're stuck in fight or flight and their brain is constantly moving at 100 miles an hour. So they have to practice meditation. A deeper one would be doing a guided breath work,
Mm-hmm.
taking cold showers. If they want that quick hit to simmer their nervous system down, go to the gym, take a cold shower. If you can, jump in a river. I've done that many times when I head to New
Yeah.
Hampshire, and yeah, I love it. You know, But it's those quick hits. Or even take a bowl of ice and just stick your face in it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
that'll help to reset your nervous system. Now, would I recommend that for everybody? Not right away, because if your nervous system is so amped up, those things could actually exacerbate the issue. So you want to start with some of the lighter techniques, the meditations, the minor breath works before getting into the deeper stuff. Yeah.
One thing that happened to me, so after I got divorced, I also left the Mormon church at the time. And so
Okay.
I started drinking coffee because now I
Mm.
could. And
Yeah.
that was one thing that I think messed up my nervous system or something. I felt so stressed
Yeah.
out and amped up all the time.
Right.
It took me a couple years to realize this is not good for me. And then I
Yeah.
realized, yeah, there's many other things contributing to stress.
Correct.
Why people are just giving themselves so much caffeine, I don't know. I don't
Well,
think
it's not even that too. So part of our DNA work that we do with clients, we test their DNA based on nutrition. So the report will come back. My report came back that I have a slow metabolism or a slow digestive system for caffeine.
oh wow.
So what that means is that when caffeine enters my system, it dances around or ping pongs around 3 times as long
Wow.
than a normal person. So I don't have the proper enzymes to digest caffeine at a normal rate. So then for me, it's like jet fuel. I'll get a lot of stuff done, but then I crash, and
Yeah.
I crash really, really hard. Some people can digest it well. I can't. So, and then that just adds to, like you're saying, to your nervous system. Why would you want to amp yourself up even when you're amped up? Well, that's an easy one to explain. Think of it as an addiction. You love the chaos. You live in chaos. You need more chaos. You need more stimulation. So then you're just feeding it. You're just feeding
Dang.
it more and more of that stuff. Yeah, it's because we need it. Our nervous system is wired. It doesn't know positive from negative. It just knows what we're giving it.
Wow. Okay. So what's it been like building a wellness center with so many modalities under one roof? What is that like?
Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from a business perspective, it is definitely, it's been an undertaking. I started in business almost 20 years ago now. And at the time, I did a lot of collaborations and I would work out of other people's places, which
Yeah.
worked really well. Right. And then as time went on, I ended up getting my own place. And then that grew. And then, I hit a point where I was getting divorced. I was going through a business divorce as well with an ex-business partner at the same exact time.
Oh,
Uh, Money was sieving out the door. You talk about nervous system
that's hard.
dysregulation. Yeah, and I had a little kid who was literally looking up to his dad and was like, what's going on? And I'm leaving the house and we're separating, and it's just pure chaos. Then you fast forward, things start to do a little bit better. COVID hits, and I decide to buy a business in the summer of 2020 because, why
Why not?
not? Why not? I'm that risk taker. Why not? Let's do this. And I took that business within 10 months and I flipped it into a small wellness center, a town over from where we are now. Realized that space wasn't working for us. Moved here almost 3 years ago. And it has taken almost 3 years to get to a point where we are stabilized, doing well, and now we're growing, you
Nice.
know? So how's it been with multiple modalities? We find that, for me, it's a lot of fun because when a client walks through the door, I get to choose based on how they're feeling, how to work with them that day.
I love that.
Like, oh, I don't think you need stretch today. I think today you need meditation. And I love when my client gets up and was like, Mike, that's exactly what I needed today. Like, how'd you know? And I'm like, it's my job to read you, and to see what you need in the moment. That's what you're paying me for.
Yeah.
So it's rewarding.
I think, yeah, as a healer, as an intuitive, you can't be put in a box. And
No.
I think
Yeah.
that so many people try to do that. You go to college, you get a certain degree, and then you're in this
Mhm.
ridiculous box. And that
Exactly.
shows up in healing in the modalities as well. And yeah, to show up and just have you tap into it with your intuition
Yep.
is the future. You're holding the torch for the future. This is so
Yeah,
great.
I don't like being on the pioneer end though, because it takes too long.
I
Right?
know. It's all I constantly can see myself paving these new trails, like
Mm.
putting the grass down. Like, why can't I walk on a trail that's already been there? Like,
Right.
that's my dream. But I think it's a deep calling within me too. So I get it. What do you wish more people understood about holistic healing before they walk through your door?
That it's not a one-time
Yeah.
session, that it's not a one-time fix, that you can't just expect to come in for one session or a stretch session and expect things to either be healed or feel better. You might get that relief up front, but it's a process, and it's more of a long-term process, explaining the reset on your nervous system, getting to that point where it's stabilized and not functioning in that active, fight or flight mode, survival mode. That takes time. If you've been living that way for 40 years of your life, don't expect it to all of a sudden flip, within 30 days. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody watching this, they need to listen to a song by Trevor Hall called You Can't Rush Healing or something like that. It's a
Yes,
beautiful song. Have you heard that?
I have. Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
beautiful. Okay, so where can people find you if they are curious about
Mhm.
working with you? You mentioned
Sure.
also a Facebook page. I don't know if it's open
Yeah, so we
or
have Reset Your Nervous System on our Facebook page. We have danverswellnesscenter.com, DANVERS wellnesscenter.com. We have the Danvers Reset Method.com as well.
okay.
And then they can email us at info@soul, SOUL, warriorconsulting.com. So we have a DBA. We do business as Danvers Wellness,
Yeah.
but our full business name is Soul Warrior Consulting. And that was really mixing the blend of, the soul and the warrior and having them blend together.
Yes, that's beautiful. And you work with men and women because
Men
it's
and women, I'm
yeah.
proud to say that these days, in the last few years, my split is about 50-50. It used to be
Oh,
95-5 women.
oh,
So I
oh,
worked with a lot
okay.
of women over the years, and I do a lot of relationship coaching, and yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So I got a lot of different mixes of
You
things that I do.
do. Yeah, well, I heard the word warrior, so I immediately thought you work
Yeah.
with mostly men, but it sounds
No, it's men are difficult to work with at times.
oh,
I know if
really?
any men are listening out there, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
We're
they
very
need to.
skeptical. We're skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I think you're
Okay.
sharing your story with us today. And if you're on the North Shore or anywhere in Massachusetts or anywhere online, even, and you're looking for a place that meets you where you are, whether that's fitness, nutrition, the energy work, the nervous system stuff, all of it, go ahead and check out Danvers Wellness Center. I'll have all the links in the description below. And if you're a wellness center owner who wants to get more visible and build systems that actually support your work, check out the link to Flow with Solaris in the description below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.